everybody, and Timeout Talks is brought to you by Chase and Those Custom T-shirts and accessories, sponsored by the Ice Shaker, and also sponsored by Make It Mac. You guys back in here for another NFL weekly edition of Timeout Talks. Pretty much, we're going to be talking about the Bruins a little bit. Bruins are playing live right now against the Wild. We'll give you some live takes for the Bruins. We'll get maybe a couple Celtics comments, but heavy NFL show today. We've got a lot to talk about. My Cowboys, just as me and Ben were just talking about literally seconds ago, underperforming. Same old Cowboys. We'll get to them. We'll get to your Patriots. We will get to our locks, our sleepers, in a matchup that I've been previewing for a while. I want to get to it. Maybe we can get to it right before we get to our predictions for the week. Huge. Two number one seeds right now going at it. The Ravens and the 49ers. Maybe me and Ben will give you our picks for that since we're going NFL heavy. We'll get you some takes on that. We'll take some of your comments as always. And hey, I just want to throw one thing out there, Ben. I was right with the T. Higgins. Everybody got mad at me. T. Higgins balled out. I think it was 2 touchdowns, like 74 yards. I was like, I have to come into the show and talk about that immediately.
That was a good call. I totally forgot that, Josh. We got to give you credit where it's due. But, catch of the year. One of them. That one ender was just kind of crazy. Just going up there, grabbing it for against the Vikings. That pretty much, was the game. Not the game, but that kind of just turned everything. And, with Jamar being hurt, he came up clutch, Josh. So, if you got him too in some fantasy leagues, I don't know. It's probably going to be good right now because I think Jamar is going to be out this week. Looking good for Jamar. T. Higgins balled out, showed you what he's capable of. I know a couple Patriots fans want him. I know a couple Patriots fans trying to get over T. Higgins. I don't know if the Bengals will be able to sign everybody and keep him on, with this Joe Burrow deal and Jamar Chase eventual deal. Hey, hats off to T. Higgins and maybe a future Patriot one day, Josh. So good call.
Hey, maybe future Patriot. The Patriots fans love to hear that. But yeah, I just wasn't all in on Justin Jefferson coming back first week. Like you said, T. Higgins moving forward. You got Jamar Chase all banged up. They're going up against you guys. Huge game. That might change. That may change some things down the line. Some of our predictions. We'll get to those a little bit later. There was also an interesting line change. I actually had to completely abandon my upset of the week. Literally 15 minutes before because the line changed a whole point. I'll just come out and say it now. We've got plenty of time. I was going to take the Tampa Bay Bucks over, now I'm blanking on it, over the,
Packers.
Who is it? No, not the Packers. Who is it? Now, I look at this. I'm literally looking how bad
this
that
week?
looks. Yeah, I was going to take the Bucks again. I was going to take them over the Jaguars in Tampa Bay. The Jaguars were favored by a point earlier today, probably around close to noon. And now it seems as if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are favored by a point. I was like, you know what? I won't do it. I won't change it. But yeah, interesting. Some interesting line changes moving forward. We'll get to a little bit more of Week 16. We started off with the T. Higgins stuff, but I'm not going to run away. I'm not going to throw any distractions. We're here to talk about a really brutal performance by the Cowboys, Ben. It's just, I can't even look into the camera. It is bad. You talk about backyard beatdown. You talk about getting walked like a dog. You talk about just outgritted in every side of the game. Special teams, we look terrible. Penalties, we look terrible. Walking out to the bench, we look terrible. Offense, defense, coaching, fan base. Just not good. Dak Prescott looked not like he was MVP caliber. As David Hellman, Cowboys reporter I've been following for a while, said it was a pretty fun ride. The MVP candidate and Dak Prescott, my quarterback, it was a fun ride. It was nice while it lasted, but unfortunately that performance is going to halt things for his MVP race, or for him to be in the MVP race. But Ben, aside from that, they're looking for a Super Bowl. That's the ultimate thing. And they just don't look ready. In all the games they've lost this year, the Achilles heel has been the run stop. Cannot stop running teams. This takes me back to when C.J. Anderson was running all over us. in Todd Gurley, who was on his last leg against the Rams. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. And then you look at our playoff losses against the Niners both times. They just ran the ball down our throat. You look at the loss against the Cardinals this year. They ran the ball down our throat. I mean, that's just, I mean, Josh Allen, barely over 100 yards. He wasn't like spectacular throwing the ball because he didn't even have to. They outgritted us in every sense of the game, Ben. Penalties, just getting down big. I don't have much to come out of that game saying the Dallas Cowboys can give the San Francisco 49ers a run. I mean, luckily the Eagles lost last night. Still, it makes me feel even worse. I mean, I'll give as much as I friggin' hate to say it, James is right. I mean, you win that game. Now you're a game ahead of Philly. You control your own destiny now because you'd be Philly, the whole tiebreaker stuff. You wouldn't have to worry about that. At this very moment, Dallas is still the number 2 seed. They still hold the NFC East. But again, if we were to win out and Philly was to win out, their strength of schedule, their strength of the teams that they've beaten are a lot better than what we've beaten. So they'd give them the pass there, although we're both tied in the conference. Or I think Dallas is 7-3 in the conference. Philly is 6-3. But it's just a loss that, Ben, if they went out there and they played, and I know this is such a morale thing to say, but if they went out there and they lost 30-27, I'd be like, all right, Dak played well, the team played well. I'd be like, all right, Buffalo Bills, tough team, they're against the ropes here. They're trying to get in as a 7th seed right now. Like, they're still not even in the playoffs right now. I'm looking at the playoff picture. The Bills still aren't even in the playoffs, even though they're 8-6. They're still fighting for a spot. So I'd leave that, thinking, okay, maybe Dallas, they just got outplayed. Tough. Bills needed the game more. Whatever. But the Bills they looked at that blueprint that the 49ers had, and they just took it and ran with it. Dak didn't look good. The receivers didn't look good. And again, penalties. And moving forward, before I turn it over to you, Ben, I don't see how we can beat the 49ers. And heck, if we have to go on the road for 3 games, realistically, say I most likely will probably win our first game. We'll probably play a team like I don't know if it's the Bucks or whoever the hell it is, the Saints, whatever, Falcons, wherever we go. I feel comfortable with that. But again, this is a totally different team on the road than it is at home. I want the Cowboys realistically to hold the 2nd seed. You pretty much are hosting 2 home playoff games. As you saw, as the world saw, they're a totally different team at home. Right now, Ben, I'm not too happy with my Cowboys. And again, it brings me back to typical Cowboys. And I will say one thing. They've got time to fix it. I will say that. They've got some injuries. I know Jonathan Hankins being out hurts. Mozzie Smith looked not like a first-round draft pick. Damone Clark banged up. The linebackers as well. Got a little of a stomach bug thing. Not using that as an excuse. We got cooked, but hopefully this week they come back a little bit more fresh. Same with that offensive line. Zach Martin, they're saying there's a chance he could play. That was a huge loss to lose him. But again, Ben, the last time they lost to the 49ers, they made it straight. They lost to Philly, but aside from that, they went on a tear. And even when they lost to Philly, they went on a tear, excuse me. But right now, it's looking like the same old Dallas, and that last night loss makes me feel a little good, but then I look at my phone and I see, Philly still has the tiebreaker, so.
It's a little rough, Josh. It's a little rough. Not the worst, though. I was going to let you get everything out right there. We need Josh to vent. It was a rough one for him, but I don't think it should be that rough. As he outlined, the Bills, they're fighting for their life. They're not even in the playoffs yet, so that's not even a must win. That's this is every game for them is their season, the biggest game for them of the season. So the Bills, listen, they're going to come in motivated. I was expecting that from the Bills. I was expecting a little more from the Cowboys, not going to lie. But you said it at the end too, kind of. I was hoping you were going to put that injury in there, but I think that Zach Martin injury, as soon as that happened, it was over. Losing that key lineman on there, he's just the leader on that whole line. Just kind of holds it together, anchors it for him, allows you to have that run game, allows Dak to have his time, and Dak just didn't have any time. Dak, literally every time I saw him, even though on that 3rd and 1, I'm kind of confused why he just didn't try to get rid of it. I don't know why he's running backwards. He was running. Granted, he didn't have any time, obviously, but I don't know. I think there's got to be a check down or somewhere shorter to go. But no, I'm not going to kill him as much. Still a lot of questions, obviously. But I think that Zach Martin, we're just going to monitor that Zach Martin injury. I think that's the biggest concern for the Cowboys right now. Forget the rest. The Bills are motivated. The Bills need to win every game. And just as you said with the Eagles too, I mean the Seahawks too, they need 4-game skid. They needed that win at home. Seahawks needed that one. Drew Lock coming in clutch, but just those two teams right there. I think the Cowboys and Eagles just kind of got struck by teams that just needed it more right now. They needed it more. Cowboys, Eagles are in better positions, better teams, I think, overall. It's just, got beat by teams at home. As you pointed out, and Nick DeVasta, Cowboys much different team at home. So you got to bank on that, but now it gets serious. Now you got to win out. Now you just the road was a little easier if you won that game, but now, hey, it's not. So you're gonna have to just battle it out with the Eagles. Hopefully, it doesn't come down to that tiebreaker. And I just think the Cowboys are in a tough spot, tough schedule. This is the toughest part of their schedule, toughest part all season. We're going to see what they're made out of. Let's see if they can bounce back against the Dolphins. This is just another one too. This isn't isn't another easy one. I mean, Miami is looking good. So I mean, Cowboys got a tough stretch right here. Let's see what they're made out of. I think they're going to come out. I like their chances to fare a little better in this Miami game. I could give too much away, but I think they fare a little better. They got to bounce back. But I think, Josh, I think the biggest takeaway is you guys just got to get Zach Martin healthy. We got to get Zach Martin healthy, get him back on that line. The rest will fall into place, but that offensive line needs him because Dak can't be running around like that. Dak did not look good that game at all. And the run game was non-existent. I don't know where Pollard was. I didn't know where anyone was. So just got to get that offensive line healthy.
100%, Ben. I mean, they go, as Denise always says, I mean, the team and the quarterback can only go as far as their offensive line will take them. I mean, you got to have good pass blocking. And again, I mean, I know a lot of people were kind of in the middle, like, oh, Dak played bad. I mean, this and that. I mean, everybody played bad. He played bad. It's on him. You want to be the MVP. You're the quarterback of this team. There was no spark plug. I know the offensive line, and I know, like, some people were going back and forth. You got Jared saying, oh, he didn't really have a chance. It was kind of got away from him quick, and it just was a bad storm, perfect storm, as you love to say, Ben. But again, I mean, we just got annihilated. They took the candy right from us, like taking candy from a baby. I mean, all phases of the game, they dominated, and I mean, you just got to move forward. You've got a very hungry Miami team, a team that's very destined to prove we can play in this league. They're going for a number 1 seed, and they want to prove to people that they can beat a legitimate team. Same with Dallas. I mean, I think these two teams right now, they've got Miami doesn't want to drop this game. Miami drops this game. The Bills are in 1 game within the division, and they play the Bills again. So Miami definitely wants to win that game. Dallas needs to win this game. I mean, like, this is a huge, huge, huge game for Dallas. But aside from that, Ben, we've got some other interesting stuff out of the NFL this week. You've got, I mean, just wild, wild scores. Raiders dominating. They looked great. You've got the Dolphins, like I just mentioned, finally doing what they had to do. The Panthers winning 2 games. You got the Chiefs finally coming back to life. Packers, I mean, we were just high on Jordan Love and them. Kind of slowed the roll on them. The Bears had a last-second chance, Ben. And Rams are finally coming back to life. I know there's some people been in the chat. Some people been saying, hey, that's a team you don't want to see in the playoffs. Ben, how do you feel about them, and how do you feel about this week? I mean, what matchups really stood out to you?
I mean, that's just a great point, too, with the Rams. I know everyone's been chatting about them, too. 4 straight games with 28-plus points. Stafford finally getting healthy, Cup getting healthy, and Kyren Williams emerging as a top back, and him finally getting healthy too. They all kind of were just injured, Josh. It was kind of strange. The Rams just had really bad luck this year with the injuries, but finally everyone getting healthy. Most importantly, I think Cooper Kupp, you got to get him healthy. That just showcases, obviously, we've seen what Puka can do now. throughout the early year without Cup, but I think that just showcases him a little more, gets him some better options, some weaker cornerbacks. So Puka's been going off too, but yeah, I think out of all the wild card teams, Josh, I think the Rams are the scariest. I've got a Super Bowl winning quarterback, proven defense. Aaron Donald hasn't gone anywhere. Still the leader over there. So defense has gone down obviously since that Super Bowl run, but still got the sort of the key parts of it still on that side. And as I just mentioned, they got plenty of weapons on there when they're healthy. So I'm loving the Rams right now. I'm loving what they're doing. Definitely, I don't know. I don't want to say the Cowboys watch out for them. I think the Cowboys could handle the Rams. But I don't know some of these other teams. I don't know if the Rams find themselves in a favorable matchup. I could see them pass the wild card weekend, making a little run. But there's another team too that you brought up earlier, Josh. I mean the Bucks. We kind of thought it was wide open in the NFC South, and obviously still is. Falcons just right behind them too. I believe a game behind them, dropping that gross one, as you mentioned. Hey, shout out to the Panthers. 45 cents a pop in that stadium. I don't know if you saw those pictures, Josh.
I did. I mean,
it was a rough stadium. A rough time. Obviously, very bad game. Just very bad rain. We saw it all throughout the weekend. Obviously, I don't want to stick it out in there for a 1-12 team, but listen, Carolina shows out. Been at that stadium before, so I gotta give that stadium their due. Listen, when it's a good weather, they represent. So that stadium's normally not like that, but I'll give the Panthers on that one. It's Falcons Panthers. I'm not gonna go watch that in that type of rain. I don't think anybody should. But hey, congrats to Ray and the Panthers, second win of the year. So good for Bryce Young. Get some confidence, Josh. But I'm a little surprised with the NFC South. I think it's just the Bucks right now. I don't know what Saints, what's going on with them. They're just done. We got Derek Carr experiment. There, yeah, Josh. I feel bad for Zach because they really just can't figure it out. You get the quarterback that you've been wanting all these years, and he's just not doing it. He's not doing it, and he's going to cost you a lot of money. So I think the Saints are just bad predicament. Obviously, just mentioned Panthers, they're done, and Falcons kind of spiraling out of control a little. So I think that's just another surprise to me too. The Bucks kind of solidifying that NFC South, and hey, Baker's had a couple runs in the playoffs before. Obviously, as a Steelers fan, I know about it. So we can't count on that Bucks team still. As I mentioned about that Rams team, still got a lot of key players on the defensive side for the Bucks. So I'd like to see what I'm doing. And the most disrespected man in the NFL, Mike Evans, is he's back. So he's not back, but he's always there, Josh. He's always there and he's rolling. So I just like to see him get his proper due. But yeah, kind of a crazy weekend. And yeah, Chargers. That was the last point I wanted to make. That was saving it for the end, but I thought it was bad being a Jets and Bears fan, Josh. But I don't know. The Chargers are right in that realm. I think right now that was just one of the most embarrassing losses I've seen in a while. And I've been a part of some pretty bad Steelers losses over the years, so that was I just felt bad for all the Chargers fans. Jose at times. I don't know. I really don't know any other Chargers fans, so I just wanted to shout out, the Charger fans over there. I forget what San Diego, whatever. I know they're in LA. I'm still going to call them San Diego. They're still San Diego to me, but that was just embarrassing, Josh. I haven't really felt bad for a fan base like that in a while, but that was just one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
I mean, I couldn't agree. I know you're out your starting quarterback. Mike Williams is out, and their offensive line's terrible. You just lost, pretty much just cleaned house, but they're a disaster right now. This is a team, again, that just... Saints come to mind, but different. Chargers are definitely worse than the Saints, but again, like you thought was going to take that next step. That you went out, you signed your quarterback, you went out, you went crazy on defense. You got J.C. Jackson, you made a trade for Khalil Mack, you got Joey Bosa, you drafted a stud in Derwin James, you drafted that kid Kenneth Murray Jr. who isn't looking. I mean, he's okay, but again, like a lot of the Asante Samuel Jr. just came to my mind. A lot of these pieces. And they still just haven't been able to figure it out, Ben. I mean, they re-signed Mike Williams. They probably shouldn't have. Austin Eckler just looks like an absolute shell of himself to what he was last year and a couple years before that. I mean, they're out there starting quarterback who, I mean, they pretty much just they waved the white flag, whatever. They'll get a good pick. I want to see what they use it on. Probably should use it on an offensive lineman. That's probably what they'll do. That's what they should do. But again, just a frustrating team, Ben, that you thought a couple years. I mean, last year that they made the playoffs, and then they had an absolute disaster. I mean, they fell apart against the Jaguars in what was probably one of the worst playoff fall aparts I've ever seen. But I mean, just a team that's in the wrong direction, and then we flip sides over here to the NFC South. Ben, I'm looking right here on the screen. Buccaneers number one. I mean, in the division, it's all within one game. Falcons are still hanging on. I mean, this team, I don't know how they're doing it. They lost 2 games in a row. But then you look at the Saints and Buccaneers, both on win streaks. Buccaneers 3 games in a row. Saints 2 games in a row that they're on a win streak for. And again, this division, Ben, it seemed like before the season, they went out, as you mentioned, they get Derek Carr. They've got that stingy defense. I know it's aging, but again, they've got a couple young playmakers. They've got some very old veterans like Cam Jordan. You've got Marcus Lattimore. I'm blanking on a couple other guys that are pretty solid over there as well. But they've got the Honey Badger, too, over there anchoring the secondary. But they just, again, they haven't taken that next step. Whether it's Winston or it's Derek Carr, it's like hot potato. Who's the better option? I know a couple of weeks ago I was talking about just move away from Derek Carr, even though it's hard. They feel like they're married money to him and all this. But I don't know who the better option is, Ben. They have weapons in Olave. They've got a couple young receivers, too, over there. They still have Michael Thomas, who was flashing a little bit earlier in the season. And I don't know. They need another wide receiver. They need a real cornerback. I mean, quarterback. Their defense is pretty solid. It'll always be pretty solid. I feel like over there, they always shuffle in some good guys. Maybe you trade Cam Jordan, just move on from him. You know, I don't know. Keep Marcus Lattimore. Trade Tyrann Mathieu. Like try to blow it up a little bit this offseason. Get some young draft picks. Get some young hungry players over there. And I mean, that's a division that you look at right now, and all those. I mean, those 4 teams. Any of those teams can take a leap in the right direction. I mean, I know it's bad for the Panthers and our guy Ray, shout out Ray, but hold your head a little high. I mean, Bryce Young doesn't have much talent over there aside from Adam Thielen, who, I mean, a 34, 35-year-old wide receiver 1. Trey Mingo doesn't look that good, or whatever the hell his name is. They're
Katavius,
yeah, whatever. I'm thinking of the NFL guy. But I mean, I think to Ben's point, I think the Buccaneers are going to win the division again. Zach, I'm sorry. I was all in on the Saints, but again, it comes down to the quarterback, and their quarterback play has just not done it, Ben. It hasn't been good. And again, just another team you thought was going to take the right direction. Vikings falling off, Packers as well. Lions are just coasting with that division. I mean, the NFC, aside from, and again, the Lions, we can sit here and nitpick how legit they are, but aside from Dallas, San Fran, and the Eagles, I mean, who's really going to pose a threat? I know we talked about the Rams. They got a little bit of veteran experience, but I don't know. Just a kind of weird year in the NFL, Ben.
Yeah, it was a little weird year. Like I said, a little top heavy NFC, and yeah, we got the Cincy going on. Here we go, Cincy. We'll get to that,
Loves
Tony, in a
that.
sec.
He loves it. We might as well in a second.
We'll get to that in a sec, but yeah, I mean, just want to touch on that one. It's kind of a strange year. NFC very top heavy. AFC, I still think, I mean, hey, still wide open. I know the Ravens clear, sort of trying to establish them. They're the closest to establishing themselves as the clear front runner, but I still think they can catch the Ravens. We all know about their playoff woes and Lamar Jackson not really showing up into there. I gotta see it to believe it. So, kind of just a cool year like that, AFC Open, and like you said, I really don't see. No offense to the rest of the NFC wild card, but I mean, Niners, Cowboys, Eagles. It's pretty much going to be tough to kind of top those teams. I mean, the Eagles had it yesterday pretty much with sick Hurts, injured Hurts, and the Drew Lock miracle to sort of get that one for the Seahawks. And, they've been playing for a lot more. So I think it's just kind of going to be a fun year. And for the Saints, I just want to touch on that one too. I'm just confused. I don't know what else you do. It's kind of Saints are in the tough spot. Sorry, Zach, but I mean, you got the quarterback, you changed it up, and it kind of got worse. So I don't really know what the Saints got to do. Obviously, got to get a new quarterback, but it's just kind of tough. It's just getting tough to see what the problem is over there. It's just kind of, yeah, we just run out of options and run out of things to blame it on. So, uh, yeah, I mean, all those teams, especially shown to the Panthers too. You got to hang your heads high. I mean, it's going to be open for a while, that division. And the Falcons too. The Falcons, I don't know. Desmond Ritter, I don't know. It's just very confusing with that team too. But yeah, I kind of want to put a bow on this too with the Rams. I mean, the Rams probably just they're the biggest threat wild card. Forget about all these other teams. I know you just talked about the Vikings. The Vikings falling apart. I know you guys probably sit Dobbs, but I don't know. I maybe would have ridden with him a little more. I don't know if that's just the Steelers and me, just because he's a former Steelers guy, but uh, well, he's former everyone. But I don't know. Nick Mullins, we know what Nick Mullins is going to do. He's we got that 3-0 win against the Raiders, but as we said last week, probably me and Josh could have got that win. The way the defenses were playing, the offenses were playing. So he had a good game against the Bengals, but I don't know. I don't know about it right now. I think the Vikings it was just kind of a tough quarterback change, and I think the Vikings just kind of blew it this year, and the Vikings have done so. I just want to say that one too. And the Lions, I don't know, Josh. I'm not believing. I'm not believing in them. But just watch out for the Rams.
Agree. We've got Tony coming in with that Cincy. I mean, I'm gonna hand that over to Ben in a
Yeah, we'll
second
get
too.
it.
But I mean, Browning and company. I mean, these guys, they just continue to win. I mean, as mentioned, I just got the notification right now. Jamar Chase out for a week. That's at the minimum there. He's got some shoulder thing going on. And just wanted to give a quick little break. I might have mentioned this during the show. Oh wow, actually, Bruins just tied it up. Bruins just went down off the goal of Marcus Johansson. And now they have tied it up with a David Pasternak goal. So we're all knotted up in TD Garden. We'll be giving you some live updates throughout the show for that. I mean, if you're watching, that's awesome. But let's go Bees. Getting on a little skid there. They need to get back to it, Ben. But back to the NFL. Cincy, they're rolling. And Bill Belichick to the Chargers. I'm going to say it happens. I think it's likely. LA, he's got his young quarterback. I don't think that he should be done in New England, but I think he will be. I think they'll come to terms on like him leaving, and I think he's gonna go there. I'm gonna give a bold take. Nick, I think it's gonna happen. I do.
For those two, listen, hey, Tony's got me with that one. He's been right about this since he's been taking. He's been going every week on the Cincy take, so I gotta give him credit for that one. They got a great opportunity against us, to separate us even more in the wild card standings. So I mean, really must win. Really must win for the Steelers. If we lose this one, we're pretty much already out. So, but if we lose this one, it's pretty much just pack the bags. Let's get to the draft day. But I mean, hey, since he got a really good schedule, that was a good Vikings win that we just mentioned. Helped just keep par with the standings. With the Texans. Bills winning, you gotta keep par with them. Browns obviously staying a little above those wild card teams. Still in the wild card, but above some of those lower pack teams. But they picked up a win too, so you gotta stay on pace with them. So I mean, since he's doing their job, since he's doing what they need to do to stay in this, and Jake Browning, he's playing phenomenal. He's playing great. Thought it'd be kind of a drop off with maybe Chase. Isn't going to do as well, but he's finding Chase. He's getting the ball a little more spread out right now. So T. Higgins coming back healthy is huge for them. As we've been mentioning on the show, 2 touchdowns, that was big. We're going to see a lot more of them. So I'm not happy that the Bengals are doing good. I don't like to see it, but since he's on the up and up right now, so we got to give Tony that one and. To just keep agreeing with Josh, but yeah, I'm pretty much this is the easy one. If Bill's going to go somewhere, I go to the Chargers. I don't, as Josh pointed out, I don't think he should be going from the Patriots. I don't think this is his fault, but I think maybe much like the Steelers, maybe a change of scenery is a need. I love Tomlin and everything. We love both these coaches, but eventually just gets to the point where it just needs a change. A change is good for the pace of things. So I think that's just what's going to be with the Patriots. If he's going to go anywhere, might as well go to LA. Nice weather. Young quarterback. As you brought up earlier in the show, Josh, he got some studs on defense. Bosa obviously has his injury concerns, but he got some studs on defense. And obviously, his defensive background, he can turn that defense into something. And he can just turn that team into something because Staley kind of stinks. Actually, not kind of, he stinks. He's going to be fired after this year. Pretty much, they probably should got fired after that. The
I
Raiders
think
game.
he's gone. I
Oh,
think
he's already
they've
gone. The hurricane.
completely,
Oh, never mind. Sorry, that's on me.
completely wiped. Their whole front office is gone. I'm
See, I
pretty
wasn't paying
sure that
attention.
they wiped everybody. Yeah, I think
Perfect.
him and the
Finally, they did
GM
move.
are gone.
Let's go. Finally. All right.
Yeah.
So let's bring Bill in. Let's bring Bill in. I mean, that's perfect. You need a new change of scenery for Herbert. So I think that would be good. Bill to the Cowboys. That's funny. Yeah, that's now he would. I mean, hey, listen, Bill Belichick on that Cowboys team. He'd have fun with that Cowboys team with that defense. That defense is. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine what Bill Belichick could do with that Cowboys defense. So that'd be kind of cool. But no, the one spot I see him going to is it's got to be LA. It's got to be the Chargers. Like I said, warm weather. You got Herbert. You got defense. You got weapons. I mean, like we mentioned, they just can't stay healthy. Keenan Allen actually stayed healthy all year. Just got hurt this week, and I think he's kind of just pretty much done. As soon as Herbert got hurt, I think he's just saying, "Yeah, I'm going to pack up too." I don't think he'll be coming back this season. Tough for my fantasy aspirations, but digress on that one. But still got Mike Williams if he's ever gonna stay healthy a year. More importantly, you still got Eckler and Allen, so you got weapons on the offensive side. If it plays for Bill, I think it's LA Chargers, not Rams.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. There's just something about it feels nice. I think he stays in the AFC. I mean, I would love for him to come to Dallas, but again,
And
I don't think it'll happen. Ben, look at Ben. I don't know. I don't think so. I think some people believe that Mike McCarthy might get an extension. Here's a little crazy. And then some people actually think that Dan Quinn could be the successor. I don't know. We'll see. I love what Dan Quinn's done over there, but again, I mean, they've got to get over the hump, Ben. Got to get over the hump. But before we get to some picks here, let's just take every week. We've been kind of doing this. We're heading into week 16. We're only technically 3 more games of football left. 3 more games for each team. Here we go. Let's take a quick look. These are the current AFC and NFC playoff. This is your playoff picture right here, updated as of last night, right after that Philadelphia lost to the Seahawks. And again, we've seen a lot of changement here, a lot of movement. You've got the Steelers dropping out. Kansas City stays to the 3. Jacksonville, Cleveland still in there. Indianapolis. I mean, just right off the bat then, between Cleveland, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and even the Bengals, Tony's Bengals, I don't believe in any of those teams. And that's why I'm going to come out here and say it. The Bills will find a way to get into the playoffs. And when they do, watch out. Because realistically, they're probably going to get that 7th seed. And guess who they're going to be matched up with first playoff game? It's either going to be the Kansas City Chiefs or it's going to be Miami. And guess what? They've already beaten the Chiefs in Arrowhead, excuse me. And I'll take the Bills on the road in Miami. I don't care what anybody says. I know everybody, the Bills, they lose it, they fall down to earth. I would trust them. I think that they would be a team playing with a lot of magic there. They don't got they have high stakes, but again, they don't have that pressure of the number. I don't know. I like them. I know they beat up on us, but I've been talking about this before they beat up on us. And hey, they beat up on us, so of course I'm going to sit here and talk about how good they are. But again, Buffalo, I think if they get in, watch out. And again, flip side, I think you look at the 7 seed, that would be matched up right now with the Cowboys. Realistically, I think it's going to be the Eagles, who, unless the Eagles somehow lose to the Giants or the Cardinals within the next 3 games. They play the Giants twice and Cardinals in between. But other than that, I mean, it's going to be Rams going into Philly or Dallas. They're kind of like the Bills, I feel like. Nice veteran team. As you mentioned, Ben, they've won. They've shown that they can win. Vikings, I don't even know how they're still in it with 6-8. I mean, that's a team that, Lions, that's a divisional game, which would be interesting, kind of, but they're a team I don't really have much faith in or put much stock into. And then the Tampa Bay Bucks, they're probably going to win that division, or you could slate in the Saints if you're feeling nice to Zach. But again, I think Bucks win that division. And hey, that'll be interesting. It could be either Philly or Dallas traveling to Tampa Bay. Again, I think it might be Dallas, but I like that. I feel better about that than I do Dallas traveling into San Fran or Philly to start the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, other than that, Ben, early playoff picture, I'll just leave it with this before I hand it over to you. Ravens, Niners, huge games on the line, huge conference on the line. That's big. We'll get to those takes a little before we get to some of our other takes for our predictions. But again, I mean, I just thought about this right now, Ben. I think the Ravens lose, Dolphins win. Dolphins can slide right into that number 1 seed. So there's a lot to play with in terms of the seeding this week and moving forward. I think those 7 seeds, we might see a little movement up and a little movement back. I think if the Colts win, Bengals lose, Colts could move all the way up to the 6th seed. Bills move in. I think the Colts in the AFC are like a lock to get in there. I think Jacksonville as well.
Lock for the Colts. I don't know. I was going to say probably the Colts are going to be gone for the Bills. I was going to say probably either see those Bengals or Colts sort of out of the playoff picture with the Bills coming in there. I think the Bills take one of those spots. But I mean, as we pointed out, Miami does not want to see the Bills. Miami got pretty destroyed by the Bills earlier in this year. Yeah, they got beat pretty bad. So interesting to see that matchup in a couple of weeks. But for Miami, I don't think they want to see the Bills at all. That would be a perfect matchup. Colts, if the Colts could just stay there for Miami, nice sort of easy win, I think, for them. Not totally easy, but I think that offense is just a little too much for the Colts. But yeah, this is a good playoff picture so far, Josh. I feel like the Eagles played Tampa every year. I felt like they played them 3 years in a row in this wild card game. There we go, Josh. Robbie's here.
Slandered. I'm getting slandered for Aaron. It's what
Rob's here. Oh yes. There we go. There we go. I saw that.
You haven't checked my Facebook. Check my Facebook. So we'll leave it at that. But yeah, Ben, as you
Robbie,
before you were rudely
I know. And Rob will throw his bet in there. We know what your bet is, so why don't you just throw it in there too? We can get his bet in there, which I'll endorse this week. You can throw it in there, Rob. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Eagles always play Tampa on the wild card. I feel like they played 3 straight years. Kind of a strange, always a good matchup. But I feel like I've seen it before a couple times. But I'm intrigued if that Browns Jags matchup stays the same, Josh. I think that's what I'm looking really forward to. That Browns defense is legit. I mean, hey, Joe Flacco came back down to earth a little. Actually, not a lot. He wasn't that good against that Bears team, but he managed to get the win. Obviously Mooney. I'm not gonna discredit Mooney too much on that one. I know everyone's yelling at Mooney for that one. Should have caught it, but it's a pretty tough catch. I don't think we should get him on him that much. A crazy catch, but I'm kind of interested in that winner. And yeah, obviously you mentioned that Vikings Detroit matchup. That's a good one, good divisional matchup, but I think the Cowboys, this is the worst draw, I think, for the Cowboys. I don't know if they want to play the Rams. I know I said earlier they'll beat them. I think they will beat them ultimately if this matchup does happen. But I think that's the biggest test. I think that's the biggest test out of all these wild card teams. So if I was the Cowboys, I don't know if I really want to see them. I don't know. I believe they knocked you guys out a couple of years ago. I don't know if it was the FC. There's still that little bad blood. So maybe they want that bad. Maybe they want a revenge game. Maybe that's what the Cowboys fans want. But we're just looking at this one. I feel like that's just the toughest matchup for the Cowboys. I feel like they'd rather play Nick Mullins led Vikings or actually I don't want to play Philly, but yeah, that's why I'd rather play the Vikings than the Rams. So I just want to put that out there. So tough one for the Cowboys, but I still think they get it done in that matchup. But I'm still going to stick with my Super Bowl matchup, Josh. I'm going Ravens Niners. Keep it in there. Said it last week. Going to keep it the lock.
And sticking to it. And yeah, I mean, and I think most likely you're looking at Philly and the Rams. That could, but then again, if the Rams continue to win, another team slides down. There's a lot of movement to be made, but we're gonna get to some of our picks here, and we're gonna start off. I really want to throw this game in here. It's the 2 number 1 seeds. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again this week, and I'm going to say it again moving forward. The San Francisco 49ers are the best team in the NFL, and they are going to show you this weekend. I think it's going to get ugly. I'm predicting the San Francisco 49ers to beat the the Baltimore Ravens by 10 or more. I don't like that matchup for them. I think Lamar Jackson's going to get a little antsy. It's in San Francisco. This is what San Francisco does. They get up for these games, Ben. I know they let up 29 points to the Cardinals, whatever. They still beat them by almost 20 plus. I would know this. We saw them crush Dallas. We saw them crush Philly. We saw them dominate everybody pretty much. Besides that, one of those weird losses that they had when they had that weird skid. I have a weird feeling that the San Francisco 49ers are going to have their way. And if it is an early matchup or an early indicator of the Super Bowl, oh boy. Hopefully the Ravens can get a little practice because I think it's going to get ugly. I don't like this matchup for the Ravens. They just lost another running back there. A nice pass-catching guy, Keaton Mitchell. I think he's gone for the year. So Isaiah Likely, they lost their guy, Mark Andrews. I don't like this matchup. I'm going to say San Fran. The spread on this, let me just put this into perspective for you guys. The spread on this game, I believe, is 3, but let me check. The spread for this game
Sounds right.
is, oh wow, actually it's 5.5, almost 6 points.
Oh, wow.
So it seems like Vegas might be leaning a little closer to me, but I'm going to go a little higher than Vegas. I'm going to go 10.
Uh-oh.
I could take the 7. I could take a whole touchdown, but I'm going to say the Niners win by 10, 30-20. Not my lock of the week, but I wanted to get to this. We had a little bit of time, and then we'll get to our takes. I want to hear Ben's take, but yeah.
It's just tough, Josh. I don't know if it's going to be killing, I think the Ravens are a little more legit than people think. Yeah, it's a nice bold take from Josh. I love it. I love the hot takes, as always, but I think the 49ers ultimately won this one. It's just looking really rough. It's just tough to, have a conversation. Who else is the best when you look at this 49ers team? I mean, it's just kind of getting ridiculous. Debo just coming into his own. Shout out Debo fantasy-wise, but him finally being healthy and, Brandon Ayuk, I think, is obviously, the number. Well, actually, I don't even want to say it now with the way Debo's catching balls, but I mean, I believe I believe Ayuk is the number one receiver. He's, Purdy's go-to guy. He's the receiver, then just runs the best routes. He gets open for Purdy. He's his go-to guy. I think Debo's obviously an elite receiver as well, but I mean, Debo's sort of just to do it all. He's going to run it. He's going to throw it sometimes. He'll catch it. He's a deep ball threat too. But Ayuk is just sort of your down, nice out route. He'll get you those 10, 12 yards. He'll get you those catches, those knees. He's turned into that receiver for Purdy. Kittle is Kittle. He hasn't changed. He just needs to be healthy. He changes the game out there. McCaffrey, just having a legendary fantasy year, and I think just breaking right. He's just the best running back in the league by far. Should probably that's my vote for MVP. I vote McCaffrey for MVP. Just the way he's changed his offense and everything. So, I mean, then you don't even get to the defensive side. Bosa, just Warner, Hafangu's back. So, this team is just loaded every position. It's just tough to bet against them, Josh. It's tough to bet against them. Even with but you got to give it to this Ravens team, this explosive offense, and can keep up with this 49ers team. So that's why I think it stays a little closer. But I'll go 27, 27-20. 27-20.
Wow.
Just a touchdown. Just
they
a
cover that spread. So you got them covering that spread?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I think they cover it. It's just tough up Tony. Tony's got it. Hey. Tony's got the.
Oh, Tony! Wow. Okay.
At least one pick for the Ravens. See, I mean, I could see the one pick, but I don't know. I think this 49ers team is just too good on the offensive side. I think it's gonna be too much for the Ravens. Yeah, at home too. I mean, with that crowd behind them, Ravens, like you said, banged up, and the running back position just got banged up a little. Lamar's not gonna be able to run around as much, do his thing. So. I think it'll be a great game. Like I said, I'm in the middle of Tony and Josh in this one. I still think the 49ers win, but it'll be a closely contested game. But hopefully the game of the year so far, Josh. I think it's obviously got that potential, and it will be a nice little Super Bowl preview. But the 49ers, we got the 49ers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's interesting. I thought Tony was a big 49ers guy. We're going to move forward here. We've got some predictions, some picks to get to. We're going to start with probably the least entertaining one of this matchup between three of our teams. It's the Patriots Broncos. It's not you. It's not you guys. I was going to go kind of by Saturday, but I think that game is a lot more odds than this. Don't worry, Ben. We're going to start with this. 3-11 Patriots going into Denver. Just not a good matchup. I mean, Broncos are favored by 6. I think that's a pretty fair spread. I'd stay away from that spread if I was going to gamble on this. I'm going to stay away from this anyways, but I like the Broncos to win. I'm going to say like 21-10. Patriots, again, Bailey Zappi, the offense showed some flashes in the game, and then all of a sudden they dialed back, Ben. They didn't look as sharp, and they let the Chiefs kind of roll all over them. Their defense is a stingy defense. They had a couple turnovers on Mahomes. Again, I know that Chiefs offense hasn't really been clicking on all cylinders. We always talk about Travis Kelce and that glue. Rashee Rice, he's been pretty good. But again, there's just something missing with the Chiefs. I don't know. Denver Broncos, they're fighting for a playoff spot, Ben. This would be a nice win for them. Get them above 500. A couple teams lose some games. Maybe they can move up a little higher. I don't know how they work. They're definitely still in the hunt. They need this one. Like I said, 21-10. Patriots, they're tanking, Ben. They're trying to go for that first or second seed. First or second pick. That's just how it's going to work. And I like the Denver Broncos at home. They're trying to make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, I like them at home too. I thought you were setting me up with that one. I thought you were setting me up with that Steelers-Bengals most boring matchup. But yeah, I totally forgot about this one. A little Christmas Eve matchup will be good for everyone around here. Watch the Patriots on Christmas Eve. That's pretty much it for this matchup. That's all I'm looking forward to. It stinks. Broncos kind of much like the Steelers with this recent loss. I think we're both on the back burner of that wild card. I don't think we're getting in, unfortunately. The Broncos made a nice little push, but the offense just isn't there. Russell Wilson, just them getting embarrassed by the Lions too. They just can't keep up. That offense can't keep up. Defense did all it could, but they need more weapons over there. So I think they win this one. I think the Patriots cover that spread. I think the Patriots cover that -6. I see like a 20. I was gonna say 21-20, but I want to go 24-21. I want to go 24-21. I think the Broncos get this one. This game stinks. No offense, but all defense, sort of. But it's gonna be good. Good for the Patriots fans to be able to watch this. But I think they cover the spread at least. So there we go. But Broncos 24, Patriots 21.
Likes a close one. He was flirting with a 1-point victory there for the Broncos, keeping it very close.
I got a little scared, Josh. I didn't want to go too close with that one.
He didn't. Yeah, he's still taking the Broncos. Safe pick there. Now we're gonna move forward. Another interesting game. I believe another Christmas Eve game. I think all three of our teams. Do we all play on Christmas Eve?
I think we got Saturday.
You guys have Saturday. We have. Oh, okay. You're right, because it's Saturday and Sunday. You're right. You guys have the Saturday. This is an interesting one, Ben. You're not gonna like this, but I think I have the Cincinnati Bengals winning. I want to say Steelers. They're at home. I feel like Browning and them are gonna come down to like a royal. At some point, it's gonna come down to a crashing halt, but I don't think it's gonna be this week. I don't know what the quarterback situation is. Whether it's Trubisky, whether it's Rudolph. I mean, it's probably going to be Rudolph. How does that make you feel? I mean, 3 years ago, this guy was swinging, getting his head hit off by Myles Garrett. And I don't know. I mean, not that I don't know. I don't feel good about the Steelers at all. I mean, you got George Pickens complaining. Hopefully I'm the Tony, yes, since he just paid. Tony loves Cincy. I mean, I think he's like up there with Dylan. He likes something about that team. But I think they're going to get it done. Browning's done what he has to do. I think that even without Jamar Chase, I still trust him more. I like the Steelers' defense, but again, they're kind of banged up. They're going through their issues. Sorry, Ben, but I think the Bengals are going to get this one done. I'm going to say they win 23-20. Close game. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to say 17-14. I feel like it's a low-scoring game. It's probably more like it. Both these teams don't put up points like crazy, especially the Steelers. It's at home. I think the Steelers keep it close, but again, I don't trust them. I'm gonna say Cincinnati wins this one by 3.
I got a little 2-for-1 on this one too. This is my upset. I'm taking the Steelers as my upset this week. I got right with them at home. I think we already beat them once in Cincy. That was surprising. Didn't think we could do that. I thought we'd get the home one for sure. And like I said last week, we win the games we're not supposed to. It looked good for the first quarter against the Colts. It was nice when it was 13-0. Don't know really what happened after that. That was kind of just kind of a confusing game. Obviously, it's not Matt Canada's fault now. I think that's pretty clear. Mitch is just so bad. Mitch is he's just not good. He was making plays in the first quarter, cool and everything, but it's just I don't know. There's something about him just isn't good. Once the Colts got going, we just weren't able to stop him. Obviously Casey getting that hit. Listen, should he be out for the year? I don't know. I don't know about the whole year. Maybe just spend him a couple games, but that's whatever. I think they get this win. Rudolph shakes things up, hopefully for the better. Because it really can't get too much worse without Mitch. I thought we should have put Rudolph in for the Colts game. Just get him some reps in there. But hey, divisional game at home. It's just.
Doesn't even know if he believes it. It's just
I just have to say it. I just have to go with them. It's just getting bad. I'm just happy Mitch is in there, Josh. We just needed to move on. It's much like the Saints. It's just, well, actually not much like that. I don't want to just compare it totally to that Saints situation, but it's what are we getting out of Derek Carr and Mitch? We know what we know what we're getting at this point. We know what we're gonna get. So might as well just roll with Rudolph or Winston. Let's see what's gonna happen. Like I said, I know I'm squandering on the chances, but we still got a chance if we win this one. That's huge. Obviously now we need some more things to go in our favor. That was a big Colts loss. So I'm excited. Not really, but I'm going to go with the Rudolph-led Steelers. Upset alert. Let's go Steelers. It's going to be another gross sort of game, like Josh said. I don't know why Josh was going 20s. No way these teams scored 20 to the Bengals. The Bengals might if they take it us. If they get to run away with this game. But I'm going to go 2017. We'll go 2017 just because Boswell. It's going to kick a couple field goals for us. Save the day. Yeah, that was just another thing too. Boswell missing that kick. That was just a bad Colts game. That was just a bad game. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. Upset alert.
And doesn't know if he even feels it. We got Nick DeVos. The Steelers win. What's Xmas without Rudolph? Hey, he's feeling that. Hey, it'd be a perfect little story. You know there'd be some type of headline in there for that if the Steelers do get the win. And hey, 2 backups going at it. I like what I see out of the Bengals more. Rob, did I miss something? Nothing. You didn't miss anything. I'm going to make this as quick as I can. And I think that this is going to shock some people. I'm going to go with this, and then I'm going to go with my upset quick. Or my lock quick. I'll save the... I don't even know if I put the... I don't like this matchup for my Cowboys at all. I think just watching us lose... in Buffalo was tough. I think in December, this is what we do. We struggle in some of these games. We're banged up right now. I think Tyreek Hill is probably going to play. He is going to give our secondary fits. I mean, this is the closest to like San Fran in terms of matchups it really gets. I know Gilmore had his way with A.J. Brown. He's probably one of the best receivers in the league, and he's been fine with some other guys. This is going to be a tough battle. It's in Miami. It's going to be very hot. I think this is going to be one of those games where I'm going into Christmas wanting to smash my head off a wall because it's going to be so close. And there's going to be something that happens. There's going to be some Sam Williams penalty like we just saw. There's going to be some Mike McCarthy coaching screw up. There's going to be some type of fumble or some type of drop. I think Dak's going to play very well. I think he's going to bounce back. But I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one, Ben. I can't take Dallas every week. I gotta be objective here. I'm going to say Dallas loses to the Dolphins. I had to stop and see. Might put up 70 again. Nick DeVos, our defense did look bad. I don't know about that, but I'm going to say Oh, it pains me. I'm gonna say Dolphins. I see. Like, I want to say Dallas win. I'm gonna say Dolphins win. I'm gonna say 28-27 in an absolute barn burner, an absolute. I'm gonna be a very upset person Christmas night, Christmas Eve night. I feel it. I I don't like this matchup at all, Ben. I'll finish it with that.
Yeah, I'll go quick. I know we got a couple in there. I got my upset in there, but I still got my lock to go. This isn't my lock, but I'm expecting another barn burner too. I'm going to go 34-31 Dolphins. It's going to be a
It's
huge
tough.
fantasy matchup for people, for everybody involved. I think that Cowboys offense, gets that mojo back. They get back into that rhythm, but as I just pointed out, I think Tyreek Hill is going to be too much. Got that week of rest. Waddle's getting into his own. Still got Mostert rolling. Achane healthy. Tua's sort of starting to roll. I mean, he's had a little lull in the middle of the season, but I think he's starting to get it going again. So I got Dolphins 34-31. I can't always get a little more confidence back in them, but just too tough of a schedule right now, Josh. They're just going to have these losses, unfortunately.
You're not wrong. And again, it's tough. It's really tough. I hope I'm not pissed. I'm gonna try and bang out a couple picks here. Can turn it over to Ben as I normally do. I'm gonna go with my lock of the week. I'm gonna keep it quick. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they're favored by 10 points. The Raiders just beat up on a very, very abysmal Chargers team. I mean, they lost their quarterback. They lost their front office pretty much. They lost their GM. They've got an interim guy. That 63 points was a little bit of a fluke. I know the Raiders are kind of flirting with trying to get in playoff contention. I don't think they're out yet, but I think they're going to lose. I think the Chiefs need this game. They got to get to 10-5. They're battling for that third seed. Jacksonville's kind of knocking on that door for the third seed, depending on how it would work for seeding. But I like the Chiefs lock at home. I think they're going to get their job done. And I'll move to my upset quickly just because Ben has already said his. I'm going to go with, and I think some Colts fans are going to be happy. I'm going to go with the Colts. They're going into Atlanta. I know we talked about the Atlanta Falcons earlier. They're favored by 1 point somehow. I had to double check even before, like right now. This was a jumble, quick fix. I like what I'm seeing out of the Colts right now, Ben. The way Tony feels about the Bengals is how I feel about the Colts. They're getting wins. Gardner Minshew looks pretty good. The defense, Kenny Morse, they just have so many nice young studs on that defense. The offensive line starting to figure it out. Gardner Minshew's playing well, as I mentioned. Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor's finally getting involved. I like what I'm seeing out of them. Falcons are a joke. I think the Colts are a better team, even on the road. That's fine. Colts will be okay with that. They play in a dome as well. I'm gonna say Colts win this one. First number came into my mind was 27, but I don't think it'll be that high. I'm going to say 23-18. Weird, wonky score there. I'm going to say they win it 23-18.
I like you, Josh. There's a little weird score right there, 23-18.
Oh,
I
that's
can see
weird.
that. I can see that weird. It's a Colts Falcons game. It's a weird one. Go quick with this one. This is an easy one. My lock, Lions over the Vikings. Vikings stink. Uh, as I said earlier, but as we mentioned too, Lions aren't exactly back. I think this is just a bounce back, not bounce back game, just sort of just a game to leap sort of off of that Broncos one. Just sort of establish themselves even more in this one. Packers pretty much done in that race. Vikings are the only one really clinging on, not really to that NFC South aspirations. So I think Lions kill it right here, lock it down. Jared Goff still. I mean, hey, I'm liking what they're doing over there. Not as confident as I was in them earlier in the year, but I think they get this one done pretty easily, and it's some good odds too. So I'd hammer that -3, hammer everything. Let's go Lions.
Yeah, I mean it's a divisional game, Ben, but you gotta think
Yeah,
Lions. They got a
I'm just
lot
gonna
on the
take
line
him.
there with the seeding playoffs too. They're trying to. I mean, they could even potentially move up to the second seed,
Yeah.
depending on what happens with Philly and Dallas. I don't know. I mean, it would be really tough. But again, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Bruins up 2-1 right now. David Pastrnak, another goal, 19th of the season. Shout out to him. Shout out Bruins. They needed this one to get back on track. Rob put in a huge long parlay for his Robbie bets. I think it was like Bruins money line, Tampa Bay Lightning, just a bunch of different teams. Too much for me to get to right now. We're running a
Because
little
of
short
money
on
line.
time, but yeah, I mean, he had a bunch, Ben. He had a bunch.
John Moran overs.
Yeah,
Just
John
pretty much that.
Morant.
That was it. Just those money lines and those overs. So there you go,
John
Rob.
Morant's like just coming back too, right? I mean, that's a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
weird
So
to
he
throw that in there.
likes
Okay,
he
yeah,
likes the John Moran turn, the
he,
return.
he likes the
Josh. So,
return, Ben. But again, thank you to everybody for tuning in. I'm gonna finish it with this on my sense here, my end. Dallas, prove me wrong, man. Like I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking at you, Mike. I'm looking at you, Jerry. I'm looking at Dak. Figure it out. This would be a huge win to get back on track against this explosive team. And I hope I'm not going to bed on Christmas night or the night of going into Christmas pissed off.
yeah. No, hopefully not for Josh. Hopefully not. I like to see Dak go well. I like to see Dak do well. Come on, give me a bounce back game in fantasy. But that's gonna be one of the games of the day on Christmas Eve. So watch out for that one. 4 o'clock, 4:25. Cowboys Dolphins. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody in the chat as always. That bet's already going on for Rob, so hopefully that bet can hit for Robbie bets. But let's go Steelers, let's go Cowboys. Patriots not so much. So stick nice and sweet, Josh. Happy holidays to everyone.